Cary Vance here in Amsterdam at the Spinning Day with Gregor Salto.
Yes.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. You look very energetic. Looks like you got some rest.
I got some rest. I mean, last night I went on till like 4 o'clock, having in mind that I had to do some interviews today, so I was in doubt whether I should still go and see Afrojack or not, and I decided nah, it's enough for now. So yeah, I feel energetic. I mean, it's always exciting times, of course. So yeah.
Now, what's the secret to? You've been doing this since 2004.
Yeah. I mean, I put my first record out in 1994.
I'll say I missed it by 10 years.
Yeah, but like the first 10 years weren't that successful. I'm not saying that now they are, but at least now it's better than back then. But yeah, around 2004 I really got my break. And I started, instead of just being a producer, also to DJ a lot and get out there. Yeah.
So you said 1994 to 2004. What was it that got that break? What was that breakthrough moment?
Well, for a long time I was really looking. I didn't go out that much, and I'm from Harlem. You guys are Harlem, I'm from New York, but I'm from the real Harlem, which is like half an hour drive from here. Nightlife in Harlem sucks. Everything's happening here in Amsterdam, but I was just a student living with my parents. I didn't really have money to go out, and so I was one of those bedroom producers, and I got my music information from compilation CDs and that. So I was never really up to date with what was really happening in the music scene until I started DJing a bit myself, and I got some gigs in Harlem. And little by little I started to understand, okay, so this is what makes a dance floor move, etc. And that really, I mean, that changed my way of producing. And once I really started to understand what made a dance floor move and how to, let's say, translate it to my productions, then my production started to work, DJs started to play them, and all of a sudden I was asked to play parties.
Now you have, or you had, G-Rex Music, right? That started in 2001.
Yeah, still have.
You started before 2004.
Yeah.
And then you also have Maganga? Did I say that right?
Yeah, it's a sub-label. Yeah. So G-Rex actually started out, well, when I started that, my idea was to have a platform for very broad, soulful, jazzy, world kind of dance or electronic music. So I did my internship at a company in Madrid in Spain, and they were the distributors of Café Del Mar. I don't know if you remember those CDs, the chill CDs. And over there I really got in touch with, let's say, what used to be like the chill outs times, you know. So some of the first releases on my label were very jazzy. Actually, I did a deal with Satellite Records back in the days. My first AD ever, I made a deal with Scott, I think his name was, from Satellite. And he put out, like, they licensed 2 of the tracks from my label, put it out with Osunlala remix and all that stuff. So I even forgot your question, but
what's the big difference on the label?
Yeah. So that really started as like a free musical kind of thing. Maganga is a little bit more beat driven, so a lot of tracks I get sent from DJs and stuff, and I used to play those tracks in my set, but I never really had a home for them on G-Rex, and I decided to start a sub label where I could put like really those drummy kind of stuff out. And then, of course, I work with spinning for the, let's say, the more, let's say the stuff that is more accessible, or I don't know how to put it in English, for the rest of the world. So that's where I divide my musical output a little bit.
Now, did it begin for you on your dad's Commodore Amiga computer?
Yes. You know that computer?
I think I remember it.
Yeah. So there was this program called Octamet, and you had like 8 channels of 8-bit audio, like really sucked big time. But I had this friend, still one of my best friends, and he was more the DJ, I was the producer, and he was very technical. So we had this Amiga thing running, and we tried to reproduce the records that we used to buy on vinyl, and we never succeeded. Then finally we got a chance to buy some equipment with some money we got from school, and little by little we took it from there. And nowadays you just have your iPhone and you make a beat, which sounds way better than everything we did back then.
Did you ever think the technology would get that advanced from where you started to where it is now?
I mean, what we are doing now is what we used to dream about back then. I remember telling him like, imagine we would have this program with 24 tracks instead of 8, and imagine they would sound good instead of crappy, you know. And that's what we have nowadays. I mean,
now the song that you got your inspiration from, was it Royal House's "Can You Party"?
I mean, the inspiration. I mean, that was the starting point for me.
Yes.
Before that, I had already heard some house, of course, Mars, Pump Up the Volume, French Kiss. But again, I heard it on my dad's television, or on my, you know. So I liked those songs. It was cool, and even at like those little parties with friends, we would like dance to it. But then I went to this high school party and they had big speakers and stuff, and I heard that track, and later I found out that the sample "Can You Feel It" is actually from the Jacksons, and I was a huge Jackson fan for still am. So it all came together, and I felt that beat for the first time in my life. I actually felt a bass drum with my body instead of just hearing it. And I mean, it was just that. From that moment on, I knew like, okay, this is what I got to do.
So it's 2016. What's Gregor Salto working on today?
Well, for me, 2016 is like, I mean, already a year or two ago, the whole EDM thing slowed down, which for me is very good because that never really was my strongest side, so to say. And I'm just getting back a little bit to not where I started, but I'm getting back a little bit to a point where I feel more comfortable, incorporating more, let's say, world kind of sounds, bringing back a little bit of funk, like Can't Stop Playing, and all that kind of stuff. Like I feel that there's more room now to be a little bit more musical again. And for example, yesterday, like, there was such a diverse lineup at Spinning Sessions, whereas maybe 3 years ago you would have Garrick, Son of Endor, like all those guys just banging for 4, 5, 6 hours. And now you had Throttle, you had the guys from Amsterdam. What's the group again? I forgot the group's name. But anyway, I was there, and then later Don Diablo came. So it was very diverse, and like I heard some disco, I heard some trap, I heard all kinds of stuff, and I like that. Yeah.
So you mentioned you heard all kinds of stuff when you're not working, not in the studio, not DJing.
Yeah.
What would your fans be surprised to hear you listening to?
I don't know if they'd be surprised, but I mean, on Sunday morning I like to listen to some classical music. At dinner I always put on some jazz or old soul, old Latin, like Fania, All Stars kind of stuff, like Brazilian music, like just like music with soul. And I like it when it's a bit old and how we say gritty, like.
Or else he has no goal in life.
Inspirations growing up.
Also Eden.
When you're in a new city, who's more?
I remember my parents. They bought this CD from Gloria Estefan back in the days, with Oye Mi Canto and all those songs. I didn't really care so much about those songs, but I really remember listening to those rhythms and the musicians playing their solos and all that. I was really, I was really inspired by that. But I think, like musically, like Michael Jackson was not only for me, but for a lot of producers nowadays was really starting. I was more like I'm from the time where you would either be for Michael or Prince. I was a Michael fan, and yeah,
you've remixed for J-Lo, Rita Ora, India Arie, George Michael.
Yeah.
Favorite remix that you've done?
Favorite remix that I've done? I still play the remix that I did for Rihanna, the Cheers one. It still works for me. The one that did best for me, I did one for Rita Ora that worked very well as well. I mean, I'm a big Rihanna fan, so I guess the Rihanna ones, the Diamonds remix was on her Diamond album, I think, or the exclusive edition. So that was a big honor for me. Yeah, I'd like to work with Rihanna one day. So who knows?
Salto Sounds. You still doing the show?
Every week, yeah. It's quite an how would you say that? It's quite a challenge to find 1 hour of good, mostly new music every week. I find that very hard.
Where do you find the music?
Who spends more time in front of
Like all over. So fortunately now I'm in a position where I get a lot of music sent to me. Where when I started I just had to chase everything. Now it's just a matter of selecting from all of the good demos we get. So that's already, let's say, 30% of the show. Then it's just like Beatport, SoundCloud, wherever. Some of my own stuff, some of the label stuff.
Favorite city to tour in?
Favorite city to tour in? Wow. I have some.
Who can cook better?
I mean, New York is amazing, of course. I wouldn't say that's my favorite one. I mean, Japan is amazing. I love Canada. Vancouver is. I love that. Australia, Sydney, beautiful city. And lately I've been playing a lot in Italy, and I must say I love Italy because the food is just so good. Like really good.
Favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant?
Anywhere. Yeah.
There's this restaurant in Denmark. It's called Relais, and I once tried to get a table at Noma, which 3 years ago was the #1 restaurant in the world, to surprise my wife. Who is a very good cook, and she cooks so nice for me every day that I was like, okay, now I gotta do something better. So I thought, because I always manage to hustle myself into wherever I want to be, to get a table at that place, and I didn't succeed. So I was in Copenhagen with my wife. I'm like, okay, what are we gonna do now? And I pulled a lot of strings, and finally I found out that the ex-sous chef of this Noma restaurant opened his own place, and it was called Relais. And we went there and had the best
You try to be honest.
blow away dinner ever.
You mentioned your wife's a great cook. Do you ever cook for your wife?
I should do that more often.
All right, when you're not working, not remixing, not DJing, you're in the studio.
Yeah.
What are you doing to relax or have fun?
Several things. I have children, so for me to just be able to be with my children and not having to focus in the meanwhile on something else, that's luxury, and
I'm pretty sure we didn't get booked.
that's great. So I just like to go into the nature with them and play and fool around. Of course, spend time with my friends. I just started a photography course. I've been wanting to do that for 15 years, and recently I decided, like, okay, I can wait another 15 years, but now's the time. So I'm really learning the basics of photography right now, and that's it. But music is always there.
Last question. We're in Amsterdam, ADE week.
Yes.
A lot of young people trying to learn the business, break into the business. What's one piece of advice you would give to an up-and-coming producer, artist, DJ?
One is, I mean, it all starts with making music nowadays. I mean, for me, I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't be making music. Either you have such a unique taste and skill for DJing, like for example A-Track.
So that's what you meant by trouble making.
But if you don't, then you have to be able to make music and do a lot of extra other things. Otherwise, it's gonna be very hard to stand out as a DJ. It wasn't like that, but now it is. So take some piano classes if you don't know how to. Like I hear a lot of people, they tell me, yeah, but I don't know about music. And then I'm like, yeah, but you want to work in music, then you gotta. I remember like quite a well-known DJ here in Holland telling me like, yeah, I gotta start producing because my gigs are like I'm losing gigs here and there, and I see the producers taking over. I'm like, okay, start producing. Yeah, I'm learning it. I said, okay, well you should learn piano or guitar or something to get the basics. Yeah, but I mean it's so hard.
I see anything, I remember.
So I mean, you gotta be able and you gotta want to learn. Yeah.
I hate it when you like go.
Well, we thank you, Gregor, for spending a little bit of time with us today. We wish you continued success.
I wish you guys a lot of the same. Good luck.